Everybody, it's Kaylee and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm doing another what sold from last week video. I am slightly behind, not going to lie. So today's what sold from last week video is going to be actually from 2 weeks ago to kind of catch us up. So in case you were missing that, I didn't forget about it. It's been a couple of weeks. So let's dive into those sales. Sales have definitely been up and down, but that is to be expected during this time of the year.
All right, so everything that you see here on this screen happened between May 28th through June 3rd. And I'm not going to go over the spreadsheet in as much detail as I have in the past, but it is here on the screen if you want to look at it in some more detail as to what's going on in my business every single week as we pivot and try out new things and how that impacts our sales. But for those of you listening who can't see the screen, I will let you know that my gross item sales, meaning the gross amount that just the items sold for, not including shipping, that was paid to me or anything like that, was $5,248.08. And we ran a closet clear out because it was the first week. And so I think that was the reason for lower average sale price, especially on Poshmark, because we ran closet clear out to drop prices for the beginning of the month. So we're going to dive right into eBay. I have some pretty cool stuff to show you. Once again, I tried to pull something a little bit different. So this first one is an unbranded dress. This is a handmade dress, and we use the keywords cottagecore, prairie dress, anything that I find that is super cottagecore, I usually pick it up as long as it is a decent price. This particular one definitely had some wear to it. There was some staining on the bottom, but overall, this is just an item that people are looking for photo shoots. This aesthetic is really popular, so got it regardless of flaws. I paid $350 for this, and because it was handmade, it is one of a kind, or one of few. So I charge a little bit more for it. Whenever you have something that is one of a kind, you kind of have to make up your own pricing for it. And I've sold ones like this in the past for around $75, which is where I priced this one for, or best offer. I paid $350, and I ended up taking an offer. I think it was an offer to watcher for $62.04. So amazing return on investment there, and an item that you could definitely be just style based on, but it would have to be a pretty substantial piece like this one. All right, next up is a men's jeanwear brand that I pick up in just about anything. It is True Religion. I don't come across them as often as I used to, but I do get excited whenever I come across them. There are fakes out there. I've never come across a fake. You should be able to tell pretty easily based on quality, but they have a lot of really good stuff. And on their back patch, they have the style name. I'm not sure if you guys can see it here on the screen. This is the Billy Super Tee. So it makes it really easy to look up if you have a desirable style and size. And you can come across these pretty easily by looking for their thick stitching. So this one I paid $8.99 for. That is regular price for jeans at my Goodwills now. And we listed it for $60. It ended up selling on an offer to watcher for $50.90 and was a pretty quick turnaround. This is part of a ginormous lot of these that I found at a thrift store, and I picked all of them up for about $4.99. They are exclusively Miss Sook knit blazers. These perform extremely well, and I pretty much pick up anything. These were also a size extra large, so that really helped to sell it quickly. Paid $4.99 for this. We listed them all for about $50, and this one ended up selling on an offer to watcher for $42.40. So definitely a mature brand to be on the lookout for. Next up is a brand that I like picking up, but I wanted to show you this because I didn't know they made maternity pants. It is XCVI. They make a lot of login looky, oversized, kind of hippie-ish is the aesthetic I get wear. Very distinctive, very easy to spot at the thrift store. But like I said, I didn't know they made maternity wear. It was the first time that I'd ever seen it. and we listed them as maternity pants. They were also a size 2X, which really helped to up the value. And I kind of did have to make up a price on these just because there wasn't a lot of information on eBay about their maternity line. I paid just over $5 for this. We listed for around $45. It sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $38.15. Next up is J. Crew. I've been experimenting with this brand a lot, and what I have noticed is that the women's pants and the men's office wear stuff seems to do pretty good, so I'm keeping my eye out for that, but especially if it's new with tags, seems to up the value a lot. This is a size 4, so not a very large size, but it is new with tags, and it was this really pretty, like satiny pink colored pant. And the Barbie movie is about to come out, so anything super Barbie-core, I am putting Barbie-core in our description, and I think that is the main reason that these sold, was just simply due to the color. But I was able to get quite a bit for these, so I wanted to share them with you. A lot of people pass on J. Crew even when they're new with tags, so I would say be cautious, but definitely worth looking up. I paid $4.99. We listed for about $50, and it sold very quickly for $42.40. This was a designer pickup that I found at a thrift store. It is Prada Milano, and the men's dress shirts in this brand do pretty good, and I feel pretty comfortable, even though it is designer, listing it on eBay. This one had a lot of discolorations on it that we made sure to note, but even with those discolorations, we still listed it for about $50. I paid $4.99, and it sold for $42.40. One of my favorite brands to sell. I pick up pretty much everything in this brand. It is Lily Pulitzer. This is a women's Phoebe stripe dress. It's got seersucker fabric, very nautical looking. I paid just over $5. We listed for $49.88, and it did sell for full asking price. This is a brand that during spring and summer is definitely going to flip very quickly, sometimes within days, so I would definitely keep your eye out for it. Been very picky with Madewell lately. I am trying to stick to the larger sizes or some more substantial pieces, and I love picking up midi to maxi length dress. This is a really like billowy kind of oversized women's dress. This was called Mariana Dream On Daisy's midi dress. I paid just $4.99 for it. We listed for $50, and it sold on an offer to watcher within just a week for $42.40. So really great profits on that, and definitely the larger size helps to up the value in Madewell. So if you find yourself with a Madewell item that's a large or an extra large, you may be able to get more for it, so just make sure that you comp with the size. Here's another J. Crew piece. This one really surprised me. This is a J. Crew men's waistcoat, which is essentially a suit vest. And I don't know, I don't get into formal wear a lot, especially waistcoats and vests. I think this might be the first waistcoat I've ever sold, but I'm really happy I did look it up because J. Crew waistcoats perform extremely well, and I'll be looking for those in the future, as well as comping some other brands to see if they do well. So this is just a J. Crew men's medium. It was 100% wool, and it was a Loro Piana wool. So Loro Piana is a fabric maker. They also sell their own clothing line, but if you see any brand with Loro Piana fabric, whether that's wool or cashmere or whatever, definitely worth doing the comp with those words in it, because it can make a huge difference in your price, and it typically increases the value. I paid $4.99 for this. We listed for $44.88, and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up is a Ralph Lauren piece. You guys are constantly asking me, you come across Ralph Lauren all the time, but you know that only certain things sell. This would be a great example of something that you would want to pick up in Ralph Lauren stuff. I've noticed the Hawaiian stuff does really, really well in men's Ralph Lauren pieces, and then also larger sizes. So this was a 2X big, and it was a Hawaiian shirt. I wasn't really sure where to price this because comps were kind of all over the place. We paid $4.89. It ended up selling on an offer for $37, which is a fantastic return on investment for a pre-owned t-shirt. Next up is A newer linen brand to me, it is Match Point. And the tag will usually say Match Point USA. This is one of their linen pieces. It's a long linen tunic top, white colored, and I paid just over $5. It sold for my full asking price of $39.88. So that's a fantastic return on investment, and definitely a brand I would keep your eye out for in the future. Next up is another golf brand. This one is in the men's department. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Masad or Macad, but either way, Macade. And from what I can tell, they make a lot of really high quality golf pants. And I've actually sold 2 of these. We list them usually for around $35 to $40, and they usually sell in that range. I paid $4.99 for this. We listed around $40. They ended up selling on an offer to watcher for $33.90. This is a newer brand to me. This is a swimwear brand and a cover-up brand that tends to perform pretty well. I'm not going to say it's 100% sell-through rate, but there's a lot of value there, so definitely worth looking into. It is Vitamin A. This is a women's cover-up. It was called the Swami tunic top, and this one was new with tags. Paid just over $5 for it, and it sold for my full asking price of $39.88. Still going strong with the Talbot's plus size blazers. This was on the lower side of the plus side. This is only a 14W, but it was a very spring-like color, and it was linen blend. And as I mentioned before in previous videos, linen blazers are performing really well right now. So a lot of factor stacking on this one. I paid just over $5. We listed for $34.88, and it sold for our full asking price. This is a newer brand to me. It is Peter Manning, and I just re-looked these up as I was creating this video and preparing for it, because I wanted to know, was it just the joggers that perform really well, or is it the brand in general? And their shirts actually perform extremely well. I think it had like a 300% sell-through rate in shirts. So Peter Manning, it seems like in just about anything would be really good, but their shirts perform really, really well. I paid $4.89 for this. We originally listed this at $40, and we accepted an offer of $30, which is still a great return on investment. And like I said, I would go look up Peter Manning shirts and get an idea of what they look like, because I will definitely be looking out for them in the future. Despite it being warmer weather, I have been selling a lot of cashmere pieces. So I know we've discussed in the comments and some of you guys privately in messages here over the last couple weeks, do you still pick up fall and winter stuff? And the answer is it depends. Sometimes we're not specifically seeking out fall and winter stuff during the warmer months, but we're not going to pass up on something that has a high value, or even though it's spring and summer, if we look it up, if it still has a good sell-through rate, we're going to get it. This would be an example of one of those pieces. Cashmere pulls through in pricing a lot of the time. This is a White Warren, which is a higher end brand gray cashmere cardigan. And so we thought there was enough value there to go ahead and get, even if we ended up sitting on it through fall and winter. But we are definitely not picking up things that don't have higher value. So I wouldn't pick up something that's going to sell for $25 in the dead of winter right now. We paid just over $5 for this, listed around $40, and it sold for $33.90. This is a category that I am on the hunt for right now. They are outdoorsy brand maxi dresses, specifically midi to maxi, and this one is by Fresh Produce. It is a size extra large geometric maxi dress. I paid $5.99 for this. We listed for $34.94, and it did sell for our full asking price. In general, athletic wear brands or outdoors wear brands can perform well in dresses, but I do find that the shorter length ones do not perform as well, so I'm specifically looking for midi to maxi length. Next up is Everlane. This is a brand I've had to become pretty picky on as well, but their wide leg pants, regardless of size, seem to sell very quickly. These are just a pair of women's pretty plain tan beige size 0 wide leg crop pants. So a lot of things going against it being the small size, pretty plain item and they were cropped, but all of those things actually helped to sell it because it's Everlane wide leg pants. I don't know what to say. They just all sell for me. I paid $4.49 for these. They sold for my full asking price of $29.94. And last item on eBay before we jump onto Posh, this is a brand newer to me that I've been picking up. It is Roosevelt's, and actually on the tag it just says RSVLTS, and they seem to pick up a lot of pop culture stuff and turn t-shirts into it. I think I sold a Parks and Rec one most recently that sold for around $40. This is a Bob Ross Christmas one, and yeah, it just sold a couple of weeks ago. I paid just over $5 for it. We listed for $34.88, and it did sell for our full asking price. And again, Christmassy looking thing, sold in summertime. If that sells quickly in summertime, you know it's a good brand to be on the lookout for. Moving over to some of the Posh sales, I picked this one up strictly off of style. I've mentioned before, but all over sequin stuff can really add a lot of value to an item. Not to say you should pick up every single all over sequin item, but definitely worth looking into. This brand is called 12th Tribe. I don't know much about it, but these were some really gorgeous all over sequin joggers. I paid $3.99 for them. We listed for $35 on Poshmark. They sold very quickly on an offer for $29. This is a category that we have been looking up quite a bit. It is robes and sleepwear. We've sold a lot of really higher end robes, and I think that this is a category that most people pass on. And so you have an opportunity as a reseller. If you just glance through it, you might find some really high dollar pieces because not many people are looking for it. This one is called Weston Heavenly Bath robe, and pretty good return on investment on this. I paid $3.99. We listed for $50 on Poshmark and accepted an offer of $38. Here's another Madewell piece. I used to pick up every Madewell jean and have since stopped. They definitely do not have a 100% sell-through rate. I still like picking them up if they feel very high quality or if they're a really good size or if, they're wide leg or something. But I am a lot more picky, especially with condition, but I'll get them and still expect them to sell between $30 and $40, and typically they're selling for me on Poshmark. This one was called the Perfect Jean in a size 27, which is a little bit better of a style. Still not 100% sell-through rate, but this one was a very high quality condition. I paid just over $5 for it. We listed for $35 on Poshmark, and it sold for our full asking price. Here is another brand in men's jeans that I heavily rely on. It is Rock Revival, kind of the same thing as True Religion. If you guys see the thick stitching, it's a pretty good indicator to look at that brand. This one was called the Marson Straight, size 32, and before deciding to pick them up, I looked all of that stuff up. So when I did my comp, I looked up Rock Revival, Marson Straight 32. So specifically the style, specifically the size, to make sure that it was worth getting. Not all of them are, but in general, the men's ones do pretty good. I paid $6.49 for these, and we listed for $95 on Poshmark. They sold on an offer for $80 and were a super quick flip. That's a really great return on investment. Next up is more of a bread and butter, but it's always a super quick flip for me. I pretty much pick up every single one of these that I find, as long as they're not super outdated looking, the condition's good, or if it was like a super small size, I'd probably leave it behind. But other than that, I'm picking these up at a low price. I paid only $1 for this. It is the Express Portofino shirt. This one's a size large, which helped to up the sell-through rate a little bit, but in general, regardless of size, on eBay Express, women's Portofino tops have a 100% sell-through rate, and they typically sell anywhere from like $18 to $25. And they can just be a really great way to pad your sales, and I come across these all the time. So if you can find them for a low enough cost or at the bins, definitely worth getting. Next up is a Patagonia swimsuit. I paid just over $5 for it. We listed for we listed for 40 on Posh. It sold for $33. This was a super quick flip. Kind of like the robes, swimwear seems to also be another category that people just don't really look in, and you do want to be careful of condition, but I found a lot of really great pre-owned fast-selling bathing suits lately that have sold for really good money, so I wanted to include it in this video. So I paid $565 for it, and it sold for $33 on Posh. Next up is another sweater, again a good example of something that might sell still during this time of the year. It is, I guess I'm trying to think of a way to explain it, but a very substantial, like themed looking sweater. Seems to perform well, even in spring and summer. And anything I see that says it was made in Scotland, we are definitely looking up, because Scottish wool stuff, those brands tend to be the better ones. We paid $2 for this. It sold for $40 on Poshmark. This is a brand of bags that I just recently learned about. It is Lug, L-U-G. I've only come across this a couple times, but I hear it's pretty common to come across them. They're not going to bring you a ton of money, but they can be super quick flips. I paid just $5 for this. It sold for $25 relatively quickly on Poshmark, and is just a floral kind of like nylon-y feel bag. Next up is a hat. We don't sell a ton of hats, but we are on the hunt for them. We just don't normally find some that are worth flipping. This is a Justin cowboy hat. It is a wool felt Western hat and was in really great condition. This one did not take long to sell at all. We paid $4.99 and listed for around $55 on Poshmark, and accepted an offer of $40. There are some higher end cowboy hats, so if you're willing to ship them, definitely worth looking into. Next up is a Sundance item. I have a hard time saying no to this brand. I pretty much pick up everything. Their linen pants perform pretty well for me, but I can usually only get $30 to $35 for them. This was a gorgeous pair of linen blend, kind of crochet boho pants. I paid just over $5 for them, listed for $35 on Poshmark, and they sold very quickly for an offer of $29. Next up, I think I've shown this in every what sold video for the last few months, but figs, scrub tops, and pants, pretty much anything figs, is performing extremely well for us still. This is called the Rafaela scrub top. It was a size large in black. This one also sold very quickly for $25, and we paid just over $5. Great bread and butter brand. Here's another exclusively Masuk blazer. This one I also paid $4.99 for. It is a size large. This one did have a small spot on the front, but was a really great colorway and color scheme. It ended up selling for a full asking price of $50 on Poshmark. This one was such a surprising sale. If you guys watched that haul a few months ago where we cleaned out a consignment store clearance sale, I only paid $1 for these. Everything was $1. I was shocked. And I picked these up because I didn't really have good signal and told myself, you know what, it's only like $1. I'll just test it out and then search them when I get home. And I was shocked when we got back to the office and were searching these, because these had a really great sell-through rate and they were going for a lot of money. So these are Michael Kors wedge sneakers. Would definitely be on the hunt for these. And again, I did not realize that I should be looking for these. These were called the Felix Trainer wedge sneakers. Again, I paid $1. They sold for $80 on Poshmark pre-owned. Crazy. Another pair of shoes that sold well for us, I paid $5 for these. These are Cole Haan men's loafers, and these were called the Pinchmane Classic penny loafers. This Cole Haan can be a good shoe wear brand in general to sell in the men's department. However, they don't always sell very quickly. And what I've learned is that I really like picking up leather loafers that are very good condition and are high quality leather. They don't always flip the same few months that I get them, but within 6 months usually they sell, and it's worth waiting on because they sell usually for pretty good profits. So I paid $5. These sold for $55 on Poshmark. I guess I should show you the brand label. Here's Cole Haan. These are the Grand OS ones too, which is a fantastic line. Next up is another J. Crew item. This is a men's item, and what I've noticed is pretty much any collaboration with J. Crew seems to perform well. This is a J. Crew Thomas Mason archive, and this is the Ludlow shirt. So if you ever see J. Crew with a special tag and any kind of collaboration, I would definitely look it up because in my experience, almost all of them perform well. I paid $4.50. We listed for $40 on Poshmark. It sold with an offer to Watcher for $34. And that was something that Posh Review kind of does in the background. After someone likes an item, they get sent an offer after 5 minutes of it being liked, and that's how that sale happened. Next up and last item is a Coolabar item. This has become a really solid brand for me. All of their stuff is UPF, meaning it's like sun protection, and they have recently started coming out with some very casual looking pieces that still have UPF protection, and those ones seem to be performing the best. So definitely a brand keeping your eye out for. I only paid $2.99 for this cardigan, and it sold very quickly on Poshmark for $26.
Alright guys, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. If you do that, you'll be notified every single time I post these what sold videos. But I'm going to hop off for now and get to listing. See you guys in the next one. Bye.